Yeah.
What?
Oh, no. LiftTheChucks.com has the juice.
Hey guys, I am breaking down UFC 294. That's right, man. It became one of the biggest and best, probably the best card of the actual year, of actually Alexander Volkanovski stepping up to fight Islam once again. They're pretty much doing a rematch from the first fight to now. They're not fighting nobody else but themselves. At least for Islam Makhachev. What are the keys for somebody like Alexander Volkanovski? First, let me start off by saying that at times when you are a short notice fight, and I'm not talking about short as in Volkanovski, I'm talking about when you have a short notice fight and you've been training somewhat. He's not coming off the couch. This man has been trained. This man has been feeling good. This man is injury free. You know what it is? He has nothing to lose, and he's actually gonna go out there and actually take risks. But if I am to break down Alexander Volkanovski according to their first fight, this is where I think more likely Volkanovski is gonna have to really he needs to bring back that inside leg kick again. So whether Islam goes southpaw, or if he's right-handed, he needs to bring back the kicks, because he was able to become successful. He kind of started bringing them out within the later rounds. Within that fourth and fifth round, he actually started to kick. But I do believe if he starts kicking a little earlier, I think you can see a different pace of the match where you can break the legs, you can break the foundation of the wrestler. Another thing that I also see from Volkanovski that could be extremely crucial is going to be him peppering that jab and using that right hand. Peppering that jab a little bit more and then using that right hand. And it's not just the right hand that Volkanovski has. Volkanovski also has his tricky where he throws that right, steps through, boom, ends up catching this guy with that left. I mean, he's very tricky in the sense of using that right hand, coming in with that left to eventually catching him. But my biggest question for a guy like Volkanovski, because more likely this fight is gonna go 5 rounds unless he catches that heavy right and actually puts him out. Could he invest in those leg kicks? Could he invest? You know, he likes to hop. He does a really good job switch stance. He does a really good job of just catching that leg with his fakes and using that lead hand to kind of pepper everything. Can you pepper the lead hand for the kicks, or can you pepper the lead hand for that overhand? Or could you catch him with that length of your hand so that you catch him with that left hand as you did in the first fight? Now I'm thinking of a guy like Islam Makhachev. I mean, these guys were getting ready for a guy that's probably even taller. I want to say Charles the Bronx is either 6 foot or 6'1". He's a tall guy. He's a tall kid. It's a little different now because now he's going to have to make those adjustments. I mean, you're fighting a dude that's literally 5. You're fighting a guy that's literally 5'6". I want to show you guys a comparison. Listen, guys, I'm 5'4", of Twisted Steel. This is my opponent. He's 5'11". This is pretty much what it is. Now, what are the adjustments that a guy like Islam Makhachev needs to do in order for him to make this fight a lot easier? You see, the takedowns of changing level for a shorter guy, especially, we have Cade here. Look at how much he has to level change. Go ahead and level change. You get to my hips. You got to level change a little bit more. Level change a little bit more. Yeah. In order for him to actually get to my legs, and his shoulder is still high. In other words, what I'm trying to say, it makes him uncomfortable. He needs to go down this low in order for him to actually take me down. So the keys for a guy like Islam Makhachev, can you go upper body with him? Can you, the taller opponent, grab double unders, lift your elbows up, get him on his toes to be able to either shuck him or look for something that you could actually take him down with? Because I do believe that against shorter opponents, you do gotta go high. Because the more you can get them on their toes, the easier it is to actually take them down. And the other thing too, if you do get him against the cage, and this is something that he could probably take from his boy Khabib Nurmagomedov, is gonna be this. when he gets him against the cage is I wouldn't fight him here. What I would do is I would actually lift him. So everything that you would do, maybe with the short fighter, you would actually want to lift, because the more you get him on his toes, you know, the easier that they could become. But Khabib did this really good against Conor McGregor, was he was able to shoot, and he was able to actually literally get across, but get his hips in and actually lift this, which made it so much easier for him to actually get the takedown. Obviously, we cannot forget that back take that he had. You know, my legs are so short, you know, Alexander Volkanovkski, but could he transition? Could he make his takedowns that much more crisper? Because fighting shorter people is hard. Fighting shorter fighters are explosive. Fighting a smaller target, woo, it's just not that easy as people think it actually is. So if size mattered, I believe the giraffe would be the king of the jungle, but that's just not the way it is. Alexander Volkanovski, Islam Makhachev. If Islam Makhachev can come out and lift him and use his energy accordingly, and wait for a guy like Volkanovski to come in and counter him, just come in, just bait him, come in, counter him, like he did against Charles Oliveira and a lot of his past opponents, then he's in good shape if he's able to make those adjustments. But if he thinks Volkanovski's just coming out of the couch and he's gonna do X, Y, and Z, Volkanovski's ready. Volkanovski has been training. These things always happen. Again, I go back and I think, what is it that Volkanovski's gonna do? Volkanovski's gonna have to take risk. Volkanovski's gonna have to bring his inside and outside leg kick, and then eventually bring that heavy hand. He needs to invest in those areas. For Islam Makhachev, Islam needs to go double unders, put the short guy on his toes. Islam needs to put him against the cage and actually lift him. Certain things that he wasn't doing before. I wouldn't continue to keep going under. I mean, there's a lot of adjustment that both opponents need to do in order for them to catch the victory. Now, who wins? God, that's up to UFC 294. That's up to you guys to watch and actually see it, because a 12-day, an 11-day notice, and somebody getting ready for a fight, and they know that they have nothing to lose, they're gonna go out there and actually throw the kitchen sink. So you guys can put your guys' money where your mouth is. I'm your host, Henry Cejudo, AKA Triple C. A big shout out to our sponsor, that's right, Lifted Trucks. You know, you may be a short king, you may be 5'4", of twisted steel and sex appeal, but on the street, guys, I'm about 9 damn feet tall. So again, guys, you guys make sure to go to liftedtrucks.com and get your lift on. I'm out.